Pretty well. Obviously, some adjustment things, and obviously being closer to the line of scrimmage. It's a different lens than being in the back end. But for the first time being out there, I thought I did pretty good.
Jamal, you said on the broadcast that you had sent Pete Carroll some videos you working out over the offseason. How did that kind of start up, and how did that lead to you ultimately signing here with the Raiders?
Yeah, man. I mean, obviously, I've just been training like that, with my DB coach Clay Mack back home for years, man, since sixth grade. And obviously, that's just been my training habits, through the course of my career. Obviously, the past couple of years have, been down, not being able to really, train like myself and do what I do. But obviously, just sending out videos to, hopefully get a call back, text back, and that's, ultimately what it came down to. So, Coach Pete, obviously reaching out and giving me that opportunity, I appreciate it.
Well, a lot of times fans don't have the perspective of what you were going through. Injury-wise, I know you don't make excuses or anything like that, but how mentally draining was that? Number one, and number two, what kind of patience was required by you just to say, look, I just got to put the time in, I'll get back, but it's going to take a little bit.
Right, that's a great question. Obviously, man, tore my kneecap tore my quad tendon off my kneecap, excuse me, and obviously that's a 2-year recovery, 2.5-year recovery, they say, and mentality-wise, as a competitor, I was, kind of like, I'm gonna get back in a year, which I did in 2023. Obviously, I just couldn't be myself. I couldn't really practice the way I wanted to. But mentally, it was definitely draining. Having to sit down when I didn't want to sit down. Obviously getting hurt game one and having to sit down for a whole year. I've never, really been accustomed to that. And obviously, it was different for me, very humbling. And for me to sit down and obviously, just gain perspective. Not even just football, just life after football. It was tough. It was a lot of dark days, but I fought through. I knew eventually I would, get back out there, but it was going to take time, and it definitely did. So, just to be where I'm at now, mentally and physically, I'm definitely, back to who I am.
Jamal, to your credit, the transition has been pretty seamless. You look very good at linebacker. Do you have any experience back in your career playing linebacker, high school, anywhere else? Because it just seems like you've picked up the position so quickly.
Yeah, God is good, man. But I've never played linebacker. Even in Pop Warner, man, it was just more so safety and running back. You know what I mean? So those were kind of my positions just growing up. And obviously, I'm just a football player, man. See ball, get ball.
With that being said, kind of just being a football player, and even though you've never played the position of linebacker, you talk about how it's a different lens point, but what are some of the similarities you view in how you played safety even earlier in your career to what you do as a linebacker now?
Well, obviously, you're closer in the box, right? And, you're understanding keys, you're shooting gaps, you're reading the running backs. So it's very similar in a lot of ways, but, like I say, I always tell people, man, it's just a different lens. I'm closer, to the guards and the tackles. They can get their hands on me. I obviously have great eyes to know what I'm looking at, having the right keys, and while you're in the back, you have a whole lens, a whole view of what's going on, So it's very similar in a lot of ways, but different as well.
It's been a minute since you have been with Pete. You spoke a little bit about how great it is to be back with him. What is it about that relationship that really helped to not just draw you here, but that you're excited to get back to?
Yeah, obviously, man, Pete is one of one. You know what I mean? He's who he is. He's never going to change. And, obviously just being traded to Seattle and understanding his philosophy and understanding what he wants out of his players, it's a blessing in disguise. Pete in Seattle, should I say. They did cut me. So at the same time, it's definitely motivating to come back and do what I do and to show the world. So I'm grateful for the opportunity.
Jamal, just when you look at this team as a whole, why did Pete's talk about how he hoping that you get back to the way he used to play? Just why do you think Las Vegas gives you that opportunity to do so?
Man, honestly, I'm grateful just to get the call. You know what I mean? I can't really answer that, man. Any opportunity that's thrown at me in life, I'm going to take advantage of it. You find out a lot about yourself when your back is against the wall. You know what I mean? And for me having to sit down for a whole year to really, scan my whole career, scan life. Relationships with my family, friends. Like, it was so much that I had to go through mentally to, obviously sharpen my iron. And, again, man, I'm just grateful to be back out there on the grass and to do what I do. It's been a long time coming, but, obviously you guys got a glimpse of it, this past game.
You might be new to the position, but you're a veteran in the league, and there's other veterans in that linebacking room. What is that like with those guys, and how does that help you as well transition?
Yeah, obviously I'm being a sponge, man. Those guys have been playing it their whole career and made a lot of big plays. So, obviously I'm just learning from, so many guys, Jalen Smith and Devin White, Pratt, E-Rob, so many guys that have played the, position for so long. I'm just being a sponge and, soaking up all the game they give me, but obviously just adding my twist to it and just being a football player and do what I do.
Just what was that conversation like between you and Carroll in terms of you making that transition to linebacker? Was that something you guys talked about before?
Yeah, he just he straight up told me, man, you're gonna be in the linebacker room, so get over it. So I was just like, all right, shit, let's do it.
What did you find out about yourself, Jamal? You said you find out a lot about yourself when your back's against the wall. What did
Yeah,
you
for
find
sure,
out about
man.
yourself?
Obviously, through life, man, everybody's gonna face adversity and opposition. Like it's gonna come, no matter who you are, no matter how much money you make. It's eventually gonna come. You're never prepared for it, but it's not how you start; it's how you finish. And when you learn through situations of life, it's just trial and error. And obviously, man, again, I'm super grateful just to be back in the NFL doing what I do. I'm actually having a lot more fun than what I was in the previous years, just due to injuries. Man, so many times just driving to the games, knowing that I'm not gonna be able to be myself, and mentally you check out as a competitor. You know what I mean? Like it's tough because obviously the other team knows you're kind of beat up or injured, and you can't put your best foot forward. So again, man, I'm just grateful for the opportunity.
Do you find out who's also in that circle for you, and also maybe give you a better appreciation of who actually is in that circle for you?
Obviously my family, man. Family's everything for me. You know what I mean? I was raised to lead from the front, not the back. And, obviously I had to go through a transition of, kind of taking the back seat to a lot of things and not really speaking on, my injuries and whatnot. But, I didn't have any luck with it, man. Whatever case it may be, I just, I didn't have any luck. And obviously just learning from my injuries and learning from, the situations that I've been through, I'm grateful just to step on the field every time.
All right. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jamal.